gotta get out of my bed. Gotta stop worrying about all my problems and focus on finding solutions instead. Change up the vision, been on a mission to count on my blessings instead of my bread. I've been addicted to better in every component I know I control for I'm dead. Finally figure I've been that. If I'm talking, I'm making an impact. If it's hate on the way, then I skip that. If I said it, you know that I meant that. And in fact, I won't be throwing no stones, rather be setting the tone.
Oh man,
I gotta get it, I'm grown, even if it's on my own.
oh man.
Enemies trying to get rid of me, tendencies that'll turn kin to the enemy. Pretend to be with the team, here's my remedy. Focus on me and the things God getting me. Pregnancies planted, grow my entities, been going hard. The intensity, how that work out, splendidly. Focus on me and the things God getting me.
All right, people, what is up? Welcome. We are back to talk another episode of Monarch. This is episode 7. I am joined by Brandman of the Spoiler Kings. Brandman, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
Absolutely. First and foremost, thanks for having me. You can find us on YouTube under Spoiler Kings. We do live streams every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can also find us on Facebook under Spoiler Kings and on Instagram under Spoiler Kings Review.
Absolutely. Make sure to check us out later because we'll be doing another 2 episodes of From, because next week is the date. The next week is when the new episodes drop, so we will definitely be there for that. But today we are here to talk about Monarch, and I wanted to get your overall thoughts on this episode, Brandman.
Okay, sure. Well, after a string of episodes that kind of fell flat for me, this one landed a tad more for me this time. It kind of felt like we were moving towards something. Something resembling a Titan battle. I guess we'll find out for sure next week. But a lot of the, the core and heart of this episode was the back and forth between both versions of Shaw, played by Kurt Russell, and his son Wyatt Russell, which I thought was cool.
So did I. And I was completely wrong because I thought it was his father he talked to last episode. And I was like, oh, he was talking to his younger self. Okay.
Yeah.
But I do have a huge issue with that, though.
Right on. Yeah. But yeah, it was fine. It did a little bit more. Like it felt like because we kind of hit a standstill on the last couple episodes. It was a little too much soap opera for me. And of course, naturally, we did have a little bit of that here, but
yeah,
at least it didn't feel as oversaturated as I was kind of getting used to. I was even able to tolerate Kate this episode.
Wow, because I couldn't. I was like, oh man, she's really starting to annoy me still. But I agree with you. The soap opera stuff was still there, but I think they kind of balanced it out with some interesting stuff that we've seen. But I'm also like, this is the penultimate episode though, and I expected a little bit more than what we got. You know what I mean? Because like you said, it does seem like it's gonna go on to a Titans battle next season, because when I read the next episode, when I read the synopsis of it, they said that Shaw is going to be calling Godzilla. But I'm like, wait a minute. Why the fuck are we not using Kong? Like, Kong was in the first episode. Kong was in like the couple episodes, and then now we're getting Godzilla? What? Should have been Kong.
Yeah, and everything building up to this season, all signs pointed to Kong being more centralized, like Godzilla was on the first season.
Absolutely,
he was the main Titan that was kind of being followed. So I was really looking forward to seeing Kong get his moment in the sun this time.
Wait, they doing Kong bad, man. I'm sorry, bro.
My boy dirty.
Yeah, man, they're doing him dirty real hard, man. I was expecting to see at least. Maybe Kong and Godzilla will team up or whatever, but doesn't look like they're doing anything with Kong. They just had him there like for like a Easter egg kind of thing, I guess. Hey guys, just remember Kong is still around, but we're bringing in Godzilla. And I just hope the fight is good, right?
Yeah.
Because they did something in this episode where I was like, okay, so now we have confirmation that Titan X isn't a bad Titan.
Right.
You know what I mean? So how bad is that fight gonna be? We'll see. But we'll get into the episode real quick. right, so we get to the episode, and the episode starts off, and we see, let me see here, Shaw doing the Access Monday trip, right, from
Mhm.
1962, and then we find out that it's him that's talking to his older version. Now, I'll get into my problem with that part real quick because I'm like, would an older Shaw remember this?
Good point. I kind of pondered that too.
Unless
Mhm.
okay, so I don't see how, even if it's the first time that this is happening for each person, right? So older Shaw's first time it's happening, and it's the first time it's happening to younger Shaw, but younger Shaw or older Shaw would remember this stuff happening, and it seems like he had no idea that he had to do this to talk to us because he tells his younger self to jump on the Titan that comes out, and that's how you're gonna get out here.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, that is actually how he got out of Access Monday. So if
Mhm.
that's the case, then he would remember this conversation. I had a serious issue with that.
Yeah.
Serious issue with that. Go ahead.
Unless we're doing like a Back to the Future situation where like he's rewriting history, but still,
Uh,
um, but but still, this is the way that he gets out. This is the way that we kind of know him to get out. So, like you said, man, why wouldn't he remember this, or why wouldn't this be brought up? It kind of seems like they're making things up as they go along at this point.
100%. Now, I'm going to go with what you said because you said maybe they're rewriting history, which
Mhm.
goes to something that I think Zook said is where he was like, oh, what if he does go and save Kate's mom, right? What if he does go and save her? And then he's like, you don't know what that's going to change. You like, and so I guess it could be a rewriting of history the way it happened, but
Mhm.
it felt kind of weird to me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
of all the stuff we know about time travel and everything, it
Mhm.
just seems like this is something that he would remember as an older man.
Yeah, and I really hope this kind of crossed my mind earlier. Just kind of a fleeting thought. I hope it's not true, but I hope they're not doing some paradox thing where they create an alternate timeline, and then
Ooh,
it coexists along the main narrative and timeline of the rest of the MonsterVerse that we've been watching play out. I really hope something like that doesn't happen.
that's interesting. I didn't think
Mhm.
about that because I think Endgame kind of messed up time travel, right? Because
Mhm.
Endgame was like, well, no, if something happens in the past, it doesn't change anything, it branches out. Now I find everyone is doing like this branching out
Mhm.
timeline instead of doing like what Back to the Future did. And I personally prefer the Back to the Future way, you know?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. I hope. I hope people don't exploit Endgame too much longer and use that because it's an easy way out. It's a cheat code basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 100%. Because like, oh no, we didn't change anything. It's just it's a different timeline, guys. Like everything that you saw happen, but it's a different timeline. And I'm like, I kind of prefer the going back in time, which affects the future, doesn't change the timeline. I prefer that. But again, none of us have ever time traveled, right? In human history, so we don't actually know how it works. So I understand that they can kind of take uh liberties on what they want to do with the time travel stuff.
Mhm.
But to me, I think that the Back to the Future way of doing it is just a little bit more better, to be honest with you.
If it were up to me, that would be my way as well.
I,
If that's the route they're going, for sure.
yeah, yeah, me too, 100%. We get Kate and the mom. They're talking about the Titan, and at least she said when she heard the sound again, she was like, "Oh, I don't know if it's distress anymore. I think it could be me." Because I remember I said that last week. I'm like, "How the hell do you know it's distress?" You know. So that the
Mhm.
fact that she addressed that in this episode, I was like, "Okay, that makes kind of more sense." But um, I still not sure I like what they're doing with the Titan X. But what do you think?
Yeah, it's so hard to get a read on what exactly the end game or final plan is with the Titan X because it's just I think that this season has been a little less focused than its predecessor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Me
That
too.
um, I think there was a good balance between the Titans and the humans in season one, and it felt like they were always kind of moving forward and advancing the story. I think they're just they were in such they were so focused on outdoing themselves that something got lost in translation. I think they got their wires crossed. I think the writers
Mm-hmm.
are tripping over each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it feels like we're moving towards something, then boom, we get more soap opera drama. And then and then things kind of slow down or they completely stop.
Yep.
Or and it doesn't seem like a regression in the narrative so much as they're just stuck. They're in
Mm-hmm.
quicksand.
Mm-hmm.
you
Agreed.
know so I'm not even sure. I'm kind of asking myself if they even know what they're going to do with Titan X.
Facts, 100%. So it's gonna be good because this is the second to last episode, so we got one more episode to figure it out. I think I think there's enough threads that they can finish it out in a positive way, right? There's not too many hanging threads going on. They probably may leave one kind of thread, which is that guy that ran away. I think they said his name was Thoroid or something like that, whatever the hell his name was.
Mhm.
He bolted in the last, not the last episode, but the episode before that, and we haven't seen him yet. So he has an alternate plan, which he may get to in the last episode, or they may just leave that for season three, which
Yeah.
I'd kind of be okay with if they do that too. Because this seems to me like he took information, right? Whatever information they were gathering about the Titan, he probably took that and ran is going to take it back to Apex and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
could be interesting to see what they do with that. But
Yeah.
then we get to May, and she goes and sees Hirosho or Hiroshi, whatever his name is,
Mhm.
and they're having a conversation. And he's, listen, I lost somebody, and I don't know if you have or whatever, but you're hurt, but you don't take it out on everybody. I think this guy's just being a real dick right now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was like, I think I even said out loud, you need to pop off on her like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I get it. You kissed her, you got rejected, whatever, but you did apologize for that. She said she was sorry too. But now you're just sitting there and you're just like being a total, I'm going away and I don't want anybody to tell me what to do and all kinds of crap like that. And I was like, okay, really?
Yeah, yeah, for real. Like easy now.
you know? So they have him. To me, he's taken over Kate's spot, right? Because you said she
Mhm.
was tolerable in this episode, and I get that. But I think he's becoming worse right now with what I'm seeing going on here. I don't like it.
He was just being nasty. He was nasty to Cora or he was nasty to he
Mm-hmm.
goes to Thailand and encounters what's her face. He
Mm-hmm.
just to be nasty to her.
Facts. Facts,
Um
bro.
it's like dude, I'm like you just said, it was kind of a role reversal.
Mm-hmm.
I was tolerating Kate more than I usually do him, or more than typically.
Absolutely, 100%. And we get to Shaw. Shaw is in Access Monday, younger Shaw, anyways, and he's having a conversation with older Shaw, where older Shaw is not really telling him who he is at the
Mhm.
beginning, which I was like, I
Yeah, which is
guess
fine.
I get it. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
get it that you don't want him to know who he's talking to right now and, trying to get him to understand how to get out of there. And then he pretty much tells him that Kate, not Kate, the mom, I can't remember her name, but they said her name. That she's the
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. You
What is it?
remember?
Is it Keiko? Kiko?
Keiko. Yeah, that's it. And
Mhm.
that she's down there, right? So we find out what's going on there. But like you said, Hirsho or Hiroshi or whatever the hell his name is goes to Thailand and he meets the girl. Now, what did you think about her plan, right? Because she was like, "You're part of Monarch, I'm a part of Apex,
Part of
but we both
Apex.
don't like, yeah, but we both don't like what they're doing. So I want to do something myself." What did you think of her plan, and what do you actually think her plan is?
So I was kind of curious about that too. I think that I'm fine with that, considering that I think it's a good potential match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I'm kind of like, what can they do? And did she even mention? Because I can't quite remember, like any type of tech or resources that she has at her disposal. I know she mentioned her father.
Yeah,
So
and the only thing she really mentioned was that she had money saved up, right? Because like, oh, your father's money. She's like, no, I saved up my own money, and we need to do this. So I don't know if she wants to build her own organization that counters Monarch and Apex or whatever. But
mhm,
hopefully, we get more to what her plan is, because I know he's gonna end up going back to Monarch, but it
mhm.
would be interesting if those two said, you know what, let's try something ourselves, and season three shows exactly what their plan is. I think that would be a little bit more interesting.
Mhm.
What do you think?
Me too. Yeah, I think that would definitely be interesting. I I'm assuming that they're gonna do something to kind of infiltrate both parties, or I was kind of wondering if they could confront Titan X themselves, but then like, what would they do and what would they do is my
Mm-hmm.
question,
Mm-hmm.
because you have because Apex is the one that kind of wants to coexist with the Titans, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then Monarch is basically trying to eliminate them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like what's her plan? Study them?
It's interesting, right? Because even with what we know about Apex, Apex is the one that created Mecha Godzilla, so they're on the tech side. So we already know what their plans are for the future. It's just, and I guess their plans don't really work out because we don't hear nothing about them in the movies, right? And again, we have to be very careful with what, unless what they do is say that, after like whatever season they're done, that they went off and hid somewhere and they've been building up their thing, and then when the next movie comes out they show what it is or something like that. But they have to
Mhm.
be very careful what they do to not to mess up with what they already created, right?
Right.
And we haven't heard anything about these two or anything in the future movies, so I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see.
Mhm.
Now the plan for older Shaw was for them to put a tracker on one of the Titans so that they could track where the Titan is. And I think it's Titan X that they're putting the tracker on, right? But
Yeah.
it's just, it seemed to me like when he does put the tracker on, we'll get into that later, Titan X breaks out of that. So I'm like, wait, did you just break Titan X out early? I don't get it. I'm curious. Or maybe that's when Titan X came to Earth. I don't know. We'll see in the next episode. I found it kind of weird. What did you think?
With the tracking device.
And the fact that it feels like, or at least I think that they broke, because Titan X breaks out of the cocoon that it's in. So I'm like, is that early? Right? Did they change something? Did Titan X come out early, or was that the way it always happened?
I was wondering if that was if
What
that
up,
was the
Tony?
way that. Oh, what's going on, Tony? Thanks for joining. Um, I was wondering if that was the way that it was supposed to happen, but then the final shot when Tim and the other Monarch bigwig were
Mm-hmm.
looking at that thing, and you see the tracking device clearly in it.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got this vibe that it might have that it might have jumped the gun, that it might have arrived at an unexpected time. I just kind of got that with how surprised they were.
Mm-hmm.
It just seemed like something may have happened in the time space continuum or whatever it may be, and
Mm-hmm.
it showed up at an unexpected time because everyone looked caught off guard.
Hmm. And the thing that I'm having an issue with, and I'm gonna say it again, right? So you put the tracker on it in 1962,
Hmm.
right? So as soon as that Titan came out, it had the tracker in it. So from episode one, they should have been able to track it. I'm trying to, maybe they're using time differently than they do in other things, but that's what it like. you did it in the past. So that
Yeah.
tracker shouldn't have just came on now because all of a sudden it happened in real time. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Yep.
It, it, if we're doing past and future stuff, I think they're, and again, guys, again, we don't know how time travel actually works in real life, but at the same time, they kind of gave us a blueprint in these movies as to something that they follow. Like, for example, like in zombie movies, right? It's
Mhm.
always the same. The first zombie movie created the zombies and their brains and all of that stuff. They eat brains and all that stuff. And more or less, most of the zombie movies kind of stick towards that, right? So again, like with the time travel stuff, you usually stick towards what has created in the past. So this is something to me that always was supposed to happen, right? He was always supposed to put that tracker on Titan X, right? Shaw was always supposed to go back and help him do that. So if that's the case, then that Titan should have had that tracker from the beginning of the season. So I don't know, man. I'm just, maybe they just turned it on at this point, I guess. I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of weird how they're doing with the time travel, and I kind of hope they explain that, unless I got it completely wrong and have no idea what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It just seems weird to me. So Shaw decides he's going to put the tracker on. Oh, this scene I'm going to play because I really thought Bill kind of, kind of put it down on her. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
when May came in, he like was ripping her.
Fenton discovered.
Goons after people now? With no explanation? Are we not friends? Did we not eat noodles?
Friends. I don't know if you remember this, but we made a plan together, and then you disappeared. Next thing I know, you're standing side by side with Brenda Holland.
Yeah.
Friend?
Yeah, I did what I said I was going to do. I was gathering information.
You were actively participating. Do you have any idea what is happening right now? All we've got is a piece of Titan X with your device still attached to it. We are in a crisis. This is serious shit. Titan X is on the loose and it killed Hiroshi.
See, when he shows a, like, that's one of the best scenes in this movie, in this episode, because he threw some backbone again, right? And from the
Right.
first season, he seemed like he was a little bit soft, but he's getting that, you know, backbone, and I like that.
Potential hot take about that.
Go
Um,
ahead.
Tim is the best fleshed out character on
Agreed.
this show.
Agreed.
I think his character arc, again, be it the narrative characters, I always like when you're going somewhere. That's why we watch a story or a narrative. You need to
Mm-hmm.
have a point A and a point B, potentially even point C for the story and for characters in particular. I like character growth. Um,
100%.
I liked that he started out one way and he's progressing another way. He started out this kind of meek, kind of doormat, milk toast type character,
Mm-hmm.
and he's growing, a spine and becoming more authoritative and really putting his foot down. And I've really enjoyed watching that in his
Agreed.
case. Heck, like if they did, if a third season does end up happening, I'd love to see him become more centralized than he already is.
Yeah.
I don't want to call him a background figure, but because he's definitely not. But he kind of they kind of thread that needle between a centralized position and a supporting character.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, centralize this guy more. Um,
Agreed.
Bring him into the. I'd love to see him in the MonsterVerse movies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm
Agreed.
really enjoying his character. I find myself most invested in him.
Agreed. 100%. Because I find everybody else is kind of doing like stupid stuff. You know what I mean? And at least he is, like you said, going from a weak person in season one to someone who now has a backbone and is like really like showing his authority
Yeah,
around. And I like that. You know what I mean? It's the progression of his character. He has the best
yeah,
in the show.
and he seems to be like one of the ones that's actually operating on logic and common sense.
Absolutely. 100%. I agree.
Mhm.
I agree. We get back to this woman and Hirsch, or whatever their name is, and they're having the conversation. I think this is where she's telling him, like, listen, we need to get together and do this. I brought you here for a reason, and kind of like really sucking up to him. I hope this storyline goes somewhere, because if it doesn't, it seems like it's a waste of time right now for me.
Yeah,
What do you think?
absolutely. They only have one more episode to pay this off.
Yes, yes.
So I hope they do. I hope
And
it's
if
not a
he
loose end.
and if he just leaves and goes back to Monarch, right? Then what was the point of all of this? Unless we
Right.
see something in season 3, but if he leaves and goes back to Monarch, then there's like no point of this whole storyline that you're doing.
Yeah, I hope it's not a moot point. Because, like I said, one thing that I hate more than anything is loose ends or lack of
Hmm.
payoff. It seems like this could be an interesting plot thread that they could introduce and do. But the problem is, one more episode to go,
Hmm.
and it's not like they did a whole lot. So unless we're getting a big epic Stranger Things-esque length 2.5 3 hour episode, they better have it together. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm gonna say.
100%. And listen, like I said, if you want to say, at the end of this last episode, he ends up leaving with her, and we find out more about it in season 3. Okay, I'm good with that. But if he just leaves and we never hear about this girl or what she's trying to do again, then I'm gonna have an issue with that. Unless, and we're not connecting that she already has done something one of the future movies, we just don't know, right? Like, oh, that was her that did that. Okay, then I get that. But right now, it just seems like that's a nothing burger part of the show to me.
Totally,
Yeah,
totally. You know,
I think this is where Shaw finds out that
Control. You're not going to believe what I'm looking at.
Mhm.
Some kind of encampment. There's a... Oh my
Step
God.
away from that camp and stay on this mission.
I think this is where he finds out that he's talking to
What is this?
his older,
His
not
older
yet.
self.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think that. Yeah. So, Kate and the mom, they decide that they're going to go to this little well here, and they're going to see, because they watched some pictures of some like indigenous people, and they were kind of like doing something with the Titan, like they were getting hypnotized like she was. So they went to that spot, and then they find a well, and that well is pretty much telling them that this is like they saying that like Titan X is like singing to them or something like that, and they were there to help Titan X. So that's what her job is going to be, is to try and help Titan X. And again, this is like, and I think there's one of the things that I didn't like about some of them Kong movies is like you need they put things in there where it's not necessary, like just Titans versus Titans. That's all we want to see, and humans trying to stop them. Right now, they
Yeah.
got to put this. Oh, they feel the Titans and all kinds of stuff like that. I don't really like that.
It's too convoluted. It doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't seem to do the plot any favors in the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's excess weight that you don't need.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you, and I think it's a big problem with what they're doing with this season, because I don't remember season 1 like having this many issues that I'm having with season 2. Like, to me, season 2 is a huge step down from season 1.
Yeah, totally. Season 1 seemed a lot more straightforward. It had a lot more of a sense of focus.
Yeah.
It knew what it set out to do. It didn't seem to have all the excess. It seemed like a very linear, straightforward, and unconvoluted narrative.
Mm-hmm.
I think this kind of suffers from the sequel effect, as I like to call it, where they feel so much pressure after the reception of its predecessor that they want to go bigger. They want to add all this other stuff, but the problem is, Anzo, is that they have so many ideas that they trip over themselves, and they get in
Facts.
they're getting in their own way.
I agree with you 100%. It didn't need to be this convoluted, right? The first season wasn't, right? It made a lot of sense. It was like, okay, straightforward, but now we're getting this. You're talking to your younger self and you're having him do stuff. And what did you think about the reveal, like how he told himself that he was talking to himself?
It landed very flatly for me.
Yeah, me too. Me
It
too.
was I'm not sure if I'm using the right expression, but it was such a wet fart of a reveal.
And younger Shaw didn't act surprised.
He
Older
didn't act
Shaw, you know what I mean? Like older Shaw, I can understand because he's been around, whatever. But younger Shaw doesn't act surprised at all.
right?
He's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
Talking
like,
to him.
okay, fine. Thanks.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah. It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know how important she is. If you're not just in my head. If you're me, if you're really me. You know how important she is. She was my mission.
So this is where he decides that maybe he can go back and help May, that's her name. May, go back and help May and help her get out of there and change things. And older Shaw's like, no, you can't do that. But at one point he kind of like says, oh, well, maybe we can do it. And Zook has to like bring him back to reality. Like, no, we don't know what that's going to affect. But then we see younger Shaw actually watching May while she's doing some stuff, and I'm like, okay, so you seen her again. This is something that you would remember. I'm sorry, but it just kind of like gets to me that older Shaw doesn't remember none of this. Or if he does, he's not saying he did, but I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I don't know what to do with the time travel stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that reveal, it just, for as much time as they spent on it throughout the entire episode, the reveal just, it ultimately kind of felt like an afterthought with the reaction.
100%. So now we get to May and the daughter Kate, and they're going to the well, and that's when she's telling him that, I need to go down the well. And May's like, yeah, that's what I said, and look what happened to me, right? And then she's like, oh no, you gotta trust me. And she's like, okay, I'll trust you. I'll let you go. I guess, but I'm like, yeah,
Right.
no, you're not doing that. You're not going down there. And sure enough, Kate goes down there, and the rope breaks.
Yeah. How did I know that was going to happen, right?
You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, okay, so they're doing the rope breaks trope. I get it, but it just didn't make sense to me, bro. I just don't like what they were doing over there. Now we have May. Oh, sorry, no, not May. Shit. No, is this May? Which one is?
Cora?
Me, thank Brenda.
Cora, that's it. Names are missing. Cora and Tim talking about
her Monarch debrief.
Trying to figure out what happened with the thing they put in the Titan X and why it did what it did. And then we find out that Brenda, who is Cora's mom, didn't implicate her in anything, which kind of made sense to me, right? The mom's is not going to do that, especially if you want to continue to have Cora trust her, right? So I don't know. It was just I think I like the stuff that Tim and Cora's going through more than what we're seeing in the rest of the episode. What about you?
I am thinking, and just to make sure with the rest of the episode we're talking about, I just want to make sure that I caught it all. I'm sorry to make you repeat yourself one more time. Make sure I got it.
No, I was just saying I find it a little bit more interesting right now in this episode what Tim and Cora's doing, even though they didn't show a lot of it, than anything else in the episode.
That's what you said. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. So I did hear you right. Yeah. I would have liked to have seen more than that. More of that.
Absolutely, 100%.
I like kind of lab-based stuff like that on shows like this. It leaves the door open for a lot more stuff. And I know that we're focusing on Monarch, the humans and stuff, but I do like to see monster-based stuff and them kind of
Mm-hmm.
delve into that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was definitely engaged. I would have liked to have seen more of that. If they,
Absolutely.
um, I know the main focus was Lee talking to his younger self, but if they executed some kind of balance or established some kind of balance with um with Tim and Cora working together, it might. I think it would have worked even better for me.
Same
You know,
here.
that's.
And
Mhm.
I think that's kind of what they should have did with this season, right? It should have been more about figuring out how to stop this Titan, and we already have two good Titans. We have Kong and we have Godzilla, right? And then in the movies, you have, I think it's Mothra, right? She's on Godzilla's side and everything. I don't think we really need to go with any more of these good Titans anymore. I just want to see Titans battle it out, man.
Yeah.
And eat some of these humans that are doing stupid stuff in this show.
Hmm. I agree. Yep. I wanna see the Titans doing stuff. We're way past the point where we should have seen more of them doing
Agreed.
Titan things and fighting, battling.
Agreed.
You know.
And we did get a little bit in this episode, which we'll discuss in a bit, right? So, but it wasn't enough to be like, oh, okay, this is fire. You know what I mean? It was just like one little scene of, we could use a little bit more.
Hmm.
Do you want to play the license plate game?
So now he decides he's leaving. He's going to the airport, and she wants to stay with him so that she can change. And this is when she's telling him what her plan is.
Hmm.
Honestly, after what happened with your father, I thought you'd understand. Both of our families have been dealing with the Titan situation for years, and it's only gotten worse. I really believe it's time for new ideas.
Your ideas.
We've seen it work from the inside out. We are just as qualified as anyone, and do we not have just as much at stake?
I get it. You're rich. You're used to getting what you
This
want.
has nothing to do with money.
Say the people with all the money.
My dad has the money, okay? Everything I have, I've put at risk for this. If we are not successful, I have nothing.
We?
Do you remember what we talked about the night we met in Tokyo? How it's been 4 years since G-Day and still nothing has changed. Monarch has not made us any safer. Neither has the military, the corporations, or even my father.
Nothing can keep us safe.
Hold on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing can keep us safe now. G-Day changed the world overnight. But what if it didn't have to?
See, now that shows me that maybe her plan is because, and it goes back to, now that I think about it, where Shaw talking to his younger self, maybe she knows how to go back in time and change things, right? So maybe she's thinking about, that's her plan, is we can go back and stop G-Day from ever happening. What do you think?
Yeah. That does kind of track. In terms of the dialogue. Now that I'm re-listening to it, again, time travel, playing around with that. We're going to that. So
Yeah, hey, it seems like every show we watching right now has something to do with time travel.
time
I'm like,
travel.
like, are they trying to tell us something, right? Are we
Right.
going to be able to go back in time sooner or later? I don't know, man, because it's like this show, Paradise, right? Paradise, I wasn't even expecting time travel in this season, and then boom, they dropped it in there, right? From has time travel, which is coming up in a week or two. This show, it's like everything is dealing with time travel right now. Kind of weird.
Yeah, and I was kind of teetering when it came to Paradise with the whole time travel thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then when it finally did happen, I was sitting there like, man, I should have known.
Yeah, for
Um,
real.
but Yeah, that's what they like. What else could she be talking about? You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. More or less, it's about going back in time and changing things. So maybe she's working on something. But again, I think he's gonna go back to Monarch, and if he does, then again, like this is a storyline that to me is just a nothing burger until something more happens, and I guess we'll see in the next season, next episode. But I don't think this is something that they're going to address in the next episode. It looks like he's leaving, right? So
Yeah. So I hope they circle around to it just for the sake of payoff.
mhm.
Like I said, loose ends. You know, like if you're not going to run with something, then why even introduce it? Why even introduce
Agreed.
the idea? You know,
Agreed.
it's like what are you doing?
Yep. No,
So
I agree with you.
mhm, yeah, hopefully some type of payoff.
I'm hoping so
Mhm.
too. Now we get back to Access Monday, and younger Shaw's there, and he gets his first electric storm, which we've seen in season one. I think season one, like, I don't know if the budget is different, but I think season one showed a lot more Titan stuff than season two has been doing, right?
Mhm.
And I also heard that, for Invincibles, like they've been dropping the budget every season for that show. So it's possibility that they dropped the budget for this show, and that's why we haven't really seen much of them. But we do get this scene here where we do see a couple. See, we need more of that. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
stuff like that was cool. You know.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not enough, right? We didn't get enough of it throughout the whole season to where it just seemed like it followed a lot of the human stuff more than anything. And I think that's a big problem that I had with this season.
Hmm. Yeah. Same.
So this is where Kate, she goes down the well, and of course she falls.
Hmm.
Now, how she survived the fall, I have no idea because it seemed like it was a long fall.
It was a long fall.
But yes, guys, she does survive that fall. Don't ask
Yeah.
me how. You know,
She is not. Yeah. Not only that, she is absolutely fine. Not a mark on her.
not a
Clo-
mark. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Clothes are a little wet, and that's about it.
Facts, 100%.
Yeah. In fact, they just that's another thing they kind of write off, man. Like, oh, I'm fine. I found an
Mm-hmm.
opening. I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay.
100%. And like after that fall, we don't see anything. And then she's like, Kate, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Wait, what? How? Did you fall in water? Like I don't know, bro. They should have showed something. At least if they showed that she fell in some water, I'd have been like, okay. But you know,
And they didn't inspect the frigging rope before they used
facts,
it.
facts,
You know
facts,
that it was hanging by like a very thin thread. You're telling me they didn't see that? They just
facts.
as much as Keiko was trying to talk her out of going down there, you think she'd be exercise a little more caution.
100%. I agree. We
Mhm.
get to Shaw. He gets to the Titan, and the Titan's in a cocoon. So they're basically telling him he needs to crack open the cocoon and drop in the tracking device. And well, he does.
Sleeping shark.
Did you watch The Boys yet?
Loved it.
Oh my God!
Watch both
Tell me
episodes.
when I seen this scene, I was thinking about the rock monster from The Boys.
I thought the same exact thing. I'm telling you. I'm telling you what's going on. I
That's
thought the same exact thing.
bro. That was crazy though. That scene was crazy.
Mhm.
When he shot the lava out, I was like, "What the hell?" These, I swear, the boys. I love the 2 episodes. They raise the bar every time they do an
Mhm.
episode, man.
Every time.
Every time, I love it. So
Mhm.
Shaw does end up cracking it open,
I'm gonna
and
jam it in. Yeah, just jam it in.
and then he puts the tracker in there, and then
Mhm.
we find out that the tracker is working, but okay.
Yeah. Let's go down.
The Titan breaks out of its shell. Now,
Mhm.
is obviously it's Titan X, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, because they put the tracker on her, able to find her. Now, I guess I must have missed this because yeah, she did land in water, so I guess, right? Yeah, she pulls up in
Mhm.
water. Okay, so I missed that part. My bad. But she hears the sound, and that's when she realizes, and we'll get to the explanation quick first, but we see Shah.
Yeah. I can hear you. It's just yeah. Sure, you're more distant.
Okay, listen to me now. You need to get back to the entry vehicle.
There's a big forked tree nearby. I know you've seen it.
Okay, why there?
Because that's where Billy's dragon will come for you. You hold your own, you through the rift, it's open, you ride it out.
Okay. And you're sure?
And that's how he gets out of there. So he pretty much told him what to do. So I don't think it was Titan X that got him out. It was he was telling him, now you got to go back to where you were originally and then wait for that other Titan to take you out. Because I got to go back and watch season 1. I do remember him getting out. I just don't remember the Titan that got him out of there. So
Same.
Oh.
I was.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. That was. I was. That couldn't quite come to me either. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to go back and look for that.
Yep. So we get Kate. She says, "Oh, there was another entrance," and then she explains what happened.
It feels. For a moment, I really thought that well was haunted.
I don't think so. It felt different down there. Everything was just so much clearer. I think the women sensed the Titan song and they went down the well to listen to it.
Which would have been interpreted as madness.
Exactly. I don't think the Titan's lost. I don't think it's dangerous. I think it just needs their help.
So the Titan is not dangerous, and it just needs their help. So what's the point of having Godzilla fight it then?
Yeah. We're basically getting How to Train Your Titan.
Yeah, which I think we said that last week that that's
think we
what we're
said the
probably
same.
getting. Yeah,
Yeah.
now looks like that's what we're really getting. I hope they turn it around in the final episode. All right, because I want to see something good, right? And if it's
Yeah.
like a 5-minute Titan fight at the end, I'm gonna be pretty pissed. So
Oh, I would be so angry.
me too, bro. Me too.
Ooh, I would be so heated.
Because it seems like that's where it's going. You still got a lot of things you got to tie up, and then you got to bring Godzilla into it, and then
Yes.
have them meet up and fight. So unless it's 2 hours, like you said, it's probably going to be like a 5-minute fight at the end.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm kind of like, there's so many plot threads and so many things. There's inevitably gonna be loose ends that they're gonna and then it's gonna be like, stay tuned for season 3.
Facts, 100%,
And
100%.
I think there's nothing worse than when they do that because
Same here.
like, tell the story, focus on the now. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I think. I don't think anything's worse or cheaper than when you than when a show is just one big trailer for the next season.
100%. I agree with you. And especially if that's what the last episode is going to be, it's going to be really disappointing. Kate Kate and May, they're talking about, oh, they got to get to Titan X before Godzilla comes out there and fight him. And then we switch to Shaw and Zook, where they're having a conversation. And Zook is saying, yeah, let's go. We're going to go do this. And he's telling Zook, no, you can't go with me. And Zook's like, oh, why? You think something's going to happen to me? You don't think I'm going to come back? And then Zook says,
the old relic might not make you back. You think you might not make it back.
I say, you think you might not make it back. Now, I know we talked about this earlier in a few episodes where we said Shaw might die. What do you think? You think he's going to die at the end of the season?
I don't. I think he has so much plot armor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so many near-death experiences. I think it's going to feel cheap either way.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. I think he's safe. I think. I think. You know, no matter what happens to him, he's been in the vicinity of Titans dueling. You know, he was stuck in the it always slips my mind what the other world is called. I'm sorry.
Access Mundi.
Access Mundi. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he was stuck there. Didn't he have like some kind of health scare on the first episode?
Yeah.
And still survived that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you know, whenever something happens like this, I think Shaw can be summed up in a song lyric from the 90s, which is, I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're not ever going to keep me down.
Facts.
So, but yeah, I don't see anything bad happening to him. I think he's safe.
You know what? I agree with you, right? Because usually, and a lot of shows do it, like when they mention someone's not gonna come back, they come back, right? It's like, oh no, I'm gonna go do this, guys, and you may never see me again, and then boom, they show them again. But whenever you see them having that heart to heart with someone first, then you know they're gonna die, right? When they tie up all the loose ends, like they did with the father, right, where he was talking to his son, and then they made up with the son, they made up with the moms and all that stuff, and then he died in that episode. I think that's more foreshadowing someone's death. I think this is just trying to make you think that Shaw is going to die in the next episode when we damn well know he's not.
Exactly.
So yeah. So I think they try to, and if they do pull it off and kill him, then I'll be like, okay, at least there's something there where they were brave enough to pull the trigger, right? Because I'm pretty sure he's expensive to pay to get to do these shows, right? Mm-hmm. So if you knock that off the books, maybe you can do something more interesting with more Titans in the next season, right?
Exactly.
So then he leaves. We get to Apex, and
that's the original signal for the very first entry vehicle into Access Mundi. That's from 1962. Why?
It's live.
That pod is nearly 60 years old and was destroyed on Skull Island. All right, bring up the speed markers.
It's moving at over 40 knots. GTAS is confirming it's Titan X.
Well, sir, as promised, there's your Titan.
What the hell is it doing?
and that's how the episode ends with Titan X going to like a desert island, right? I think it's going to get some of its babies. I think the babies are over there, and I got a prediction for what's going to happen next episode. But what were your thoughts on the way it ended?
Yeah, I think it was nesting somewhere for sure. That was I was thinking the same thing. Like I said, the tracking device has me questioning, things with the time-space continuum. So I'm kind of, I have questions in that regard too. I'm thinking that if there is a climactic battle, is it going to take place there?
So I think it will, because it has to be away from people, right? So that they don't kind of mess with the continuity of the movie. So I think it will happen there. But what I think is going to happen, because that Titan is, you could tell by when you see like its horns or whatever, they're red. And I noticed that when it's mad, they're red. When it's calm, it's like that bluish color, right? So Godzilla's going to come. It's going to fight. They're going to fight Godzilla, right? And there's going to have this little fight, and then Kate is going to talk to the Titan and calm it down, and that's how the fight is going to end. It's not going to end with like either like Godzilla killing it or anything like that. And that's my prediction for next episode. Kate's going to come in, she's going to save it, and they're going to find a way to send it back to Access Monday, and yeah, happy kumbayas after that.
Yeah, since Kate is officially the Titan Whisperer, that's
Facts.
they're definitely going to do that.
Facts. Do you have any predictions for this episode, next episode? And if not, what's your grade for this one?
I think that just to kind of branch off of what you just said, yeah, Kate's going to basically mediate the situation with the Titan. I think she's going to talk it down. If there's other Titans, something will happen where that one either gets talked down or backs off, which is what I'm afraid of. We're not going to get a big like Titan, like an epic battle. I'm slowly making peace, or trying to make peace with that not happening. Not that I'm happy about it at all.
Facts.
I think that we're going to potentially see the younger and older Shaw kind of interact a little bit, potentially, and the new girl whose father worked for Apex.
Oh yeah.
They're going to try something. It might even mess things up. We'll see it.
Agreed. Hopefully they don't, but I'm right there with you. They might. What's your grade for this episode?
I'm gonna give this a well, if you're already watching everything else, I'd say a now.
Yeah, 100%.
The entire thing. So.
Yeah, if it like I said, there's a few episodes I think that you could probably like skip past or whatever. But if you're watching it, it's definitely a now. I'll give this episode probably a B. Right? It's not a A.
I'd say a solid B. If we're doing letter grades, I did forget about that. My bad.
No, it's okay.
So yeah, I'd say like a solid B. It's definitely a step up from the last several.
Agreed. Cousin T said this one is a C. And listen, I don't blame you. Like I'm not. Yeah, if you say it's a C, Cousin T, I could definitely kind of agree with that too as well, because it wasn't that great of an episode. Like for me, everything that this season 2 is doing is way worse than season 1. Season 1 was so much better. You know what I mean? So, but that's it. That's it for the show tonight, guys. Thank you everybody for popping in. Brown Man, tell the people where they can find you one more time, sir.
Yes, sir. You can find us on YouTube under Spoiler Kings. We do live streams every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We also do occasional watch-alongs on Saturday nights, same time. You could also find us on Facebook under Spoiler Kings and on Instagram under Spoiler Kings Review.
Absolutely. And I'm Bigger Ford Entertainment. Make sure to check us back in about an hour. I got to check Brian. Maybe an hour and a half. Depends on what time these guys are ready. But we will be doing more From stuff. What's up, Mama Bear? How you doing?
Hey, Mama Bear.
Okay. Are you even watching the show, Mama Bear? If you're watching Titans, let us know what you think about it, if you like it or not. But we do appreciate you popping in. Much appreciated. But Brandman will be back in about an hour when we're watching From, so you can pop in there and check us out there. I don't know if you like horror stores, so you might not want to watch the show, but we will definitely be there. You get to see, all of us on stream while we're watching a wonderful show. Wonderful,
awesome show.
Absolutely. But thank you guys for popping in. Much appreciated. Don't forget, we will be back next week for the final episode of Monarch. I like kaijus. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. So if you should, I think definitely start off with season 1. Season 1 is a lot better than season 2 right now. But if you like this stuff, yeah, definitely check it out. Season 1 is good. Season 1 is really good. This one is a little bit but season 1 is good. But thank you guys for popping in. Much appreciated. Make sure to check us out in about an hour and a half or so, and we will be watching From. So peace, love, and hair grease, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
See you guys.
I know that they're playing on my downfall, but I know my purpose here is bigger than me. Every time I'm lost, I find my way. Okay. I ain't never stressing. Okay. Bring on all my blessings. All my blessings. Let them lead the way. All my blessings. Hey. You ready? All my blessings. Hey. Yo. Gotta get out of my head, gotta get out of my bed. Gotta stop worrying about all my problems and focus on finding solutions instead. Change up the vision, been on a mission to count on my blessings instead of my bread. I've been addicted to better in every component I know I control for I'm dead. Finally figure I've been that. If I'm talking, I'm making an impact. If it's hate on the way, then I skip that. If I said it, you know that I meant that. And in fact, I won't be throwing no stones, rather be setting the tone. Oh man, I gotta get it, I'm grown, even if it's on my own. Oh man. Enemies trying to get rid of me, tendencies that'll turn kin to the enemy. Pretend to be with the team, here's my remedy. Focus on me and the things God getting me. These plans to grow my entities, been going hard. The intensity, how that work out, splendidly. Focus on me and the things God getting me.